Hello, the game has started and it's me to go first. I have a pretty balanced rack and I'm just wondering if there's a 5-letter play that dispatches of the U. Definitely not seeing a bingo here. I think cud looks okay for 12. Not a great pickup. I was hoping for an E, and no E available. So what to do? Dilutes, not quite. I have the IST ending word. I have guild. I don't see a 4-timer. Linguist if the D were an N. But let's go with guild. I don't see a 5-letter play ending in I or U, or a 6-letter play for that matter. There might be one. Okay, guild it is for 14. Okay, still no E on the rack. I have the ISO prefix. And I have the shin ending. The D as a floater, possibly the L. Lotions plus an I. Isolation, not quite. If I can get rid of O and I. Preview, okay. Notion. So preview takes an S. I don't think the V helps. It looks like it should actually, the V, but perhaps not for a bingo. Now what to do with the S if I am to play it? Do I play it? Snoot. 27. I'm going with this. Unless there's... I don't think isoton is good. No, it's only isotron. So... And scion isn't good, that's C-I-O-N. So I'll go with snoot, or maybe suit. Keep the N back. Nah, go for score, snoot. Okay. Wiggy. I don't know if you could spell it I-E. Sometimes there's both spellings, but Iwi does play here for 19. Eggia onto an R, but that's face value and opens a trip lane, so I won't be doing that. Wedgie, that could work. 11, poor score, but gets rid of all the duplicates and the W, which is what I wanted to achieve with my move. Now Wive, 20, a better score. Not a great rack leave, but rack leave's not going to be great whichever way you dice it. Iwi here for 15, no. Opponent's play of fun hasn't provided a different option for me. Now what about Wive? That's 20. I think I will go with this. And a little better now. My opponent bingos. And yeah, I've got low here for 37, and I think I'll go with this. Don't think there'll be a better option. Okay, what are the options here? Have the IER ending, Eggia plus an E, Lager, no. Eggia does play above the T, but opens the trip lane, and it's only 24. Scores are more or less level, but opponent on turn. E.g.E. pattern words. Opponent's play of plea takes a D and an S, and a D and a D and an S for now. Eggia does also work here. 24. I think I will go with this, and that's a better rack. So I know I have given opponent an easy scoring opportunity in the top right. Now EGAD is good, but JI, not many options there. JE, but that's where the story ends. I can't extend to make something like Jeet. That's a shame. That would be a lovely spot for the J. Not worth playing the blank. Well, it's worth considering, but 58 points, wow. Now, didn't think opponent would leave this spot alone, and as it happens, I don't think I have a J play through the R without burning the blank. I have G on. perfect rack leave, almost guaranteed a bingo on the next turn. And it doesn't interfere with the A, which I like. But is there no bingo here? Jemmies. What about jemmies? Jemmies is fine. And seal. What about jemmies and saxed? Saxed is no good. I could play jemmies here. 97, that's even better. Now, year is good, and airy, terrible rack leave. What about year? That's 24. Korma through an M. There is an M. I should think about getting rid of the Q pronto. 28, not to be sneezed at. And pity snooter isn't a word, otherwise korma and snooter would have been a nice score. Rory, that's worth considering as well, keeping the Q and the I. QI spot down the bottom right. And if I draw a T, I would have cat and tor, or cat and taxed. And yeah, there's also potentials through the A, so K-ed or caddy if I was to draw a D. So I quite like Rory. Takes out a hot spot, scores well, preserves the Q on the rack, which I'm not crazy about, but because it is a Q-friendly board, I think it might be worth considering. I'm still leaning towards korma. Okay, opponent's taken the potential cat spot, and I don't have Zorro. I have Arroz, but I'm still leaning towards Rory because opponent could potentially score 40 to 50 points if he places a K there, for example, at 04, or a Y. Very, for example, V-E-R-Y or V-A-R-Y. I think I'm going to take the spot out and hope to draw. I've even got QIS, cheese, in the bottom right. So I think I will go with this. Now I draw a T, so I've got cat, and at an absolute minimum I can play it through the A here. Trank through an N. Cheese, as previously mentioned, or just QI, but I'd love to get rid of one of the I's. Opponent plays bra. Now ash is good, and AH, but Rhea is no good. Hast is good. This is the problem now. Hanging on to the Q can become a drag on the rack. Pity I don't have a U for quash. The U's are all gone. I think I will go with hast 33. And I've got some options now. I've got cheese, QIS, here onto law, or QIS and seal, QIS and spun, and QI. Opponents gifted me a 44 point a 68 point play. It's triple, not double. So, and look at that rack leave, absolute manna from heaven. Aroint's not quite. If I was to get rid of the Y, I'd be well positioned to bingo. I don't see a bingo from this rack, even with the E. Now, 11 consonants, 7 vowels, so 6 to 9 now after opponent's play. So fairly balanced. I could play oi. That's a pretty strong rack leave. Half decent score. Is there definitely no bingo? Sonary, no. Raisiny, no. So I've got yo and bio. That's 22. What about oni and oi? 30. I'm going with this. Okay, I draw vowels. So that was a little unfortunate. I don't think there's a 7 here. Arsenate through a T. I was looking at this E to play on to. And bingos could end in AE or IE, for example. So now the Z, a floater as well, could play IZE through there. Nothing happening. Do I just play off an A, hoping to bingo next turn, or do I play it safe? Okay, 2 tiles in the bag. I could just play my A here next to the E, or I don't want to just play an A underneath. If I play the A under the Z, opponent doesn't have fantastic tiles, but he has Dinnick, for example, and just looking at 5-letter plays with an F. I don't think playing it there is the best option, but let's think about playing it here to stop opponent. Well, he can't play FI down there, so I think I'll just play it here and try bingo. That's pretty good. Oh, opponent takes my bingo spot, and Orkines, no. Well, there's nowhere to hook it onto apart from EAIE or the like. The game is won because I have cranes, for example, here, as long as I don't go over time. But is there a playable bingo? The A, not a floater. IES doesn't work. Think has no front hooks. So yeah, I'll give up the search for the bingo. There's no point. Is there a way of getting my C doubled and ending in S? In case 29. I couldn't see a way of getting the C there. Oh, what about a CES word? I think I did Wyver. And that's the end of the game. I think I did have a C. Anyway, let's have a look. 444 to 386. Thank my opponent for the game. Let's see what we missed. Back to the beginning. Ludic, there was a 5-letter play, and obviously lucid. 28, yeah. Card was pretty low, 22 roughly. Opponent had apologue, almost apologue. Guaco for 10. Guild for 14 looks fine from this rack. Then opponent's got preview for 19. That looks alright. Nostoi. There was some strange word there. Toyson. But Nostoi. That's a 33-point play. That would have been better. I went with Snoot. And then opponent close to a bingo, but nothing playable. Goes with fun. Wiggle through the L. That's not bad, actually. 15. I did score more, but a worse rack leave. 20. And then opponent's got amoeban. Amoeban in two different spots. Goes with abalone. Now, woggle. Oh, look at that. Down from 04. Woggle. That would have been nice. 45. 8 fewer points. So that was quite a bad miss. And then opponent's got Palea for 27, but goes with plea. Eggia for 24 looks fine. It's up there. And Axed for 50, but Darcy at 01. Darcy getting the Z doubled and the whole word tripled. That's massive. 75-point power play hanging on to the X. So I got away with a bit there. Jemmies for 97. That looks alright. And then Zariba for 54. Opponent had the Z play through the R. Didn't spot it. Went with Zell for 38. Now Rory is up there, but also 10k, a couple of extra points. Rory and Oni. That's nice. But I did take out a hotspot, so I still like my play. And opponent now close-ish to a bingo, but yeah, no real Well, raxed is good, so words ending in IER, still potential. Goes with bra. Now, hast for 33, 2J high, heel and IGAD. It's not bad. Yeah, I do like that. But Hast did take out another hot spot, and there were some heavyweights to come, like the V and the K and the F. So those plays could be mid-30s. I didn't want to give opponent an easy play. Now he's got think for 42 at 2F. That's nice. But he doesn't realise the Q and the I danger is still out there. Or maybe he did realise but thought he'd take the chance. And I think that was pretty much the turning point of the game, because I'm now a bingo ahead. But if opponent bingos now, then it's drawn level, and he could have C3 tiresome. Wow. 78 points would have drawn him level. Goes with Mogs. No bingo for me. Oi for 30 looks fine. Tatia on the rack, but not playable. Opponent's just got he's got a 28 point play, but that's not enough. Retaxed. Goes with Alter. No play here. Zaire would have been nice. And yeah, I don't think opponent could have done much next to Zaire, so that would have been okay. Goes with bar, and then that was my play, bar, and then opponent's got this rack, so he's definitely not bingoing, and he's got a 30 point play, which would brought him within 30 points, but not enough, because I've got a pretty flexible rack. Erica's, there it is, the C falling perfect, and Rance's. So there were two with the C falling at D1, which maximized the score to 35. And just went with that one in case, and then invite for 18, and Wyver was best for 12. So that was the end of the game. One or two misses as usual. Hope you enjoyed watching that one, and I will see you next time.